anybody can always go back to it and see what the manual says. Right? It tells you what you need to do. It eventually tells you who has the right and the final authority in all these matters. Okay?
It gets very unorthodox.
Yeah. These things are very tedious, and it becomes so confusing, especially if you don't have a manual. Especially if you don't know what kind of form of government you are into. Let me assure this, some council members and some members of the church do not have an exact idea of what kind of form of government they are into. That's why they always give the pastors a hard time. That's why they feel like, no, church council members has to do this and do this and do that. And they feel like the church council members has the ultimate authority to handle all the administrative operations of the church. Because they feel, and they thought, maybe from the church that they came from, it was a Presbyterian form of government.
Because that's where we come from before. It was Presbyterian. Like the council can fire the pastor. Like,
Right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, normally when people come to a church, let's say a new, someone that doesn't have Christ, but had them conception, becomes a new believer, it's not expecting all
nobody's
the
gonna ask.
way it runs, Obviously, I guess it's something that you would have to decide after going through Scripture. I mean,
The scripture is this. On the Old Testament, what do you notice? That God always selects a specific individual, right, to lead the congregation. But the New Testament is different. After the Lord Jesus Christ left, they have the apostles, a group of individuals, right? So, but the most common notion is this. However the church started, is the form of government is going to be. Like, for example, I'm a pastor and I want to start a church. So I start, discipling people, witnessing to people. So people start coming in. Now, because I started the church as a pastor, then of course they recognize me as the authority of that particular church. Right? Now, let's say, for example, all of us here are members of a specific church, and we created a split and we become a new church in ourselves. Now we start, each and every one of us start calling people to come to this church. Right? And of course, these people will recognize us as a group of leaders. Let's call us council members. Right? Now, because none of us is qualified to be a pastor, some of us trip over somebody and ask, hey, you have been going to Bible school, why don't you become a pastor to our church? So he comes over, becomes a member, becomes a pastor of the church. Now, because we started as a group, and we adopt a pastor from the outside, at any point in time, we can kick that pastor out, because we are the ones who originated, adopting a Presbyterian type.
And some can be liberal that they are Presbyterian.
Presbyterian.
Yeah, because nobody actually walks around church and asks, I don't know, I'm nobody thinks about
At first, you don't know it matters until such time
until
you are
Involved.
already standing on something, on a principle or an issue.
Right.
And then becomes
In our church, for example, right now, okay, I believe that when I'm saying that there are some members of the church council who thought that they have the ultimate power, ultimate authority, I know that you have a person in mind already, right? You already have names.
we have a limited number, we only have a few of them.
Now, one of the reasons why we have to undergo this is that becoming familiar with the kind of form of government that we have will avoid confusions. We live in peace. Right? If you feel like you don't belong to the form of government that we have, then you're free to look for that form of government outside. Right? Or else you will not be only confusing the whole the church in itself, but the whole four square church gospel, you know, because that's the form of government that the International Four Square Church is adopting. Unless, of course, you want to be a member of the conventional board.
And which one of these three groups are saved?
Is this theology again? No.
No, you can go there.
Come on, man. We gotta break from that book.
So it's a matter of salvation. They can all be saved.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
But to which one is more effective?
Seriously.
The question is, which one is more effective?
I guess it just goes around, like, there are advantages and disadvantages. Like,
Yes.
like you were saying, like, for example, if the pastor was the problem, and then if the pastor is the ultimate authority, then nobody can kick out the pastor, like in some forms of, you know, the big churches, like, you can't think now, it becomes like a cult, right? Because they have a cult following already. And I don't know. But I remember one church, we were talking about how the council decided they didn't like the pastor, so they just dissolved the church. Like, how can that be? That's possible.
Yeah, that's even possible. I know that there's a church in the Philippines that the council member decided to sell the property and divide the money among themselves. As a way of announcement, the property, this church property, is the property of the International Church of the Four Square Gospel. So in other words, when we cover remodeling and new constructions or donation of real properties, we'll tackle what do we need to do when these things happen.
Yeah, there's a confusion.
I think it's just better if we live in peace.
The primary consideration for all of this is that the International Church of the Four Square Gospel reiterates that the relationship is very important. The pastor cannot be by himself in making decisions. It is always nice to consult your members about matters, especially if you are not all-knowing. And the members also should establish this relationship with this pastor, with their pastors, that because he is the one taking care of you, he deserves to be informed, he deserves to know all the things that is going on, especially if there are fights, especially if there are needs. So, if this relationship is established, then we can all avoid confusions. It's just a matter of communicating. Yeah. We are a body, and if one part of the body hurts, the whole church hurts. Okay?
Amen.
Praise God. Thank you for coming. Let's pray and let's close. Father, thank you, Lord, for tonight.